A blessed day to each and everyone. Are you ready to discover more about English? So, without further ado, let us start. For today's lesson, we're going to learn about the meaning of character sketch, how to write a character sketch, and the example of character sketch. To start with, let us know what is character sketch. Character sketch is an interesting type of exposition. When we talk about a person's physical appearance, the result is description. But when we tell what qualities a person possesses, the result is exposition. Exposition of this type is called a character sketch. A character sketch is a quick rendering of a character, and writing a sketch is about asking and answering questions. In order to write a character sketch, you must ask yourself questions about the character. Although there is no end to the types of questions you can ask, the following prompts are recommended to get you thinking about who the character is so that you can write a clear and concise sketch. The first question to ask is, who is the character physically? Physical are the first things we notice when we meet someone. Therefore, this is a good starting point when writing a character sketch. Is your character a woman or a man? Is he or she tall or short? Is your character bald? How old is your character? Is he or she old or young? Does he or she has a disability? Authors eager to explore the in-depth psychology of the written subjects might discount these details as unimportant and base, but it is often these very details that lead to conflict or are the means through which we explore a character's psychology. Without a vivid description of this character's physicality, a critical dimension of the plot would be lost and the central conflict would be non-existent. Answering questions about your character's physicality is the first step in creating a fully realized character. What is the character doing? Is the next question to ask because it brings into account other aspects of story writing, such as setting and time. The answer to this question will also affect other aspects of your sketch, such as what your character is wearing or how he or she is feeling. Is your character walking down the street? Is he or she sitting in a park? Is your character working on a boat? Asking what your character is doing will not only help you understand your character, but also his or her relationship to the setting in the story. Authors may be tempted to gloss over this part of characterization. When asked what his or her character is doing, an author might give a cursory answer. He or she may answer that the subject is at the movies, but consider all that there is to do at a movie theater. For example, is the character waiting in line for tickets or at the concession stand? Is he or she waiting to talk to the manager? Perhaps the character is sitting impatiently waiting for the movie to begin. Getting as specific as you can when answering this question will not only help you define the character, but will also help to define the other elements of fiction. And what does the character feel? This is probably one of the more complex questions you can ask about the character. Is the character angry? Is he or she happy, sad, tired, or depressed? Does the character love something or someone? Asking questions about the character's emotional life might evolve into the production of a character history. While this may be tempting, you have to focus on what the subject is feeling within the context of the story. Although the answers to these questions are important, they are rarely explicitly stated in the story. Authors may be tempted to start with the emotional or psychological state of the characters, and they may even explicitly state them. This can lead to one of the cardinal sins of fiction writing: telling instead of showing. Implicitly showing how your character is feeling by his or her interactions with other characters or the setting is infinitely more interesting to read than explicitly stating whether your character is happy, sad, elated, joyful, miserable. Here is an example of a character sketch. Rowan is a 12-year-old boy who lives in the tiny village of Reen. He is small and rather scrawny for his age. His unkempt, curly brown hair looks like a mop on his tiny face, and his thinness makes him look like a walking skeleton. The people in the village poke fun of Rowan. The adults call him a weakling because he never stands up for himself. The children call him a coward because when confronted with a problem, Rowan always runs away. Rowan is the gentlest of the children in the village. He is the only child that can approach any of the farm animals without scaring them away. They trust his soothing touch and calming voice over the roughness and loudness of the other kids. Rowan faces the greatest challenge of his life. He possesses a special gift that he must use to save the village from the fierce dragon that lives in the mountain. He starts the journey afraid of what he might face and worried that he will let the village people down. After facing and winning over his first test, he grows more confident and stronger, so that by the end of the novel, he has all the strength he needs to face his greatest test, a face-to-face meeting with the dragon. I think Rowan doesn't deserve to be treated so poorly. It takes all kinds of people to make the world, and everyone can teach us something about how to be a better person. To sum it up, a character sketch is a starting point. Writers use this tool to develop and rehearse one of the fundamental skills of their craft, which is characterization. Character sketches are guidelines, explorations, and even short stories that are essential for writers in any form. You want to develop a consistent and realistic character early on so that you know how they would behave in any situation. Take note, the best stories feature characters that drive the plots, not plots that drive the characters. But that is only possible if you know who your characters are. While not everything that an author writes in a character sketch must be included in the novel, the author should develop an in-depth and all-encompassing knowledge of every facet of the character's personality in order to create a consistent and engaging persona. The ultimate goal of a writer is to take these character sketches and use them to craft a wonderfully engrossing, character-driven work of fiction. And that ends our lesson. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you and God bless.